everybody. My name is Jen Baldwin, and I am your MASL president this year. I am very excited that you have chosen to join us for our MASL Message Live. This is a pretty special MASL message because I'm following Matt's lead of last year and trying to show off some of my favorite things. It was a pretty easy choice to find an author that I have loved for several years and has become a friend to me. We have Missouri author Jody Jensen Shaver with us. So I'm going to quit sharing the screen so that we can see Jody in all of her wonderful things in her background. Jody, do you want to quickly just introduce yourself and tell us your writer's journey and how you became a kidlit author? Um,
Sure. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm delighted to have been asked to visit with you guys tonight. As Jen mentioned, she and I knew one another, first met one another a few years ago when Nerd Camp Kansas was still happening. And since that time, then I've done an author visit at her school, at her previous school in Jasper.
right.
And we ran into one another at ALA this last summer, which was super fun since I didn't really know anybody there. And then I saw Jen and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm home. So anyway, it's delighted. I'm delighted to be here, and it was great for Jen to ask me. So I started writing for kids really in magazines. I started first of all submitting my work to Highlights and Clubhouse Junior and some of the Baby Bugs and all those magazines because I was really just learning how to write picture books. And it's kind of an art form with a very specific sort of structure and genre and sort of rules for the publishing industry. So it takes a while to learn, or let me just say, it took me a while to learn how to write a picture book. But my first picture books came out in 2012. And I've written fiction, nonfiction for the educational market, for the trade market. I do a lot of school visits and library visits and festivals and conferences. So anyway, it's been a great journey. I really love it.
Yeah, and your journey you have definitely mastered um, the art of being an author because not only do you do picture books, you also do chapter books and nonfiction and fiction and all the things. So I know it's hard for an author to decide what their favorite is, but do you prefer the pre-K? Do you enjoy the picture books? Do you enjoy the chapter books? Um,
Oh, that is a hard one. My first love is really the picture books. So yeah, anything I would say from, ages 4 to 8 is probably where I live. Although some of my picture books tend to go a little older, like to upper elementary, and so I'm glad some of those have found a path and a home too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I'm sure if they haven't made the connection yet, if they've been a Show Me Missouri school librarian for a while, several years ago, Prudence, the part-time cow, was actually on our Show Me list. So I'm seeing several people shaking their head yes and making that connection. But I even remember doing the business, and maybe this is when we were meeting and talking at Nerd Camp, Kansas, but the the busy bus. Um,
Mhm.
and then now you actually have another one about a porcupine. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Because it could possibly be a Show Me nominee. It's on the preliminary list this year.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So Porcupine had a fuzzy sweater. This book just came out in 2024, and it's about a little porcupine who loses his sweater that his grandma made him, and he doesn't really know how to handle that. Like, he doesn't feel like he can tell her because he doesn't want to make her sad. So he comes up with these other creative ways to try to deal with this lost sweater. In the end, deciding to tell grandma and discovers that grandma is not upset, and also his sweater is not missing. It just went in the laundry. She put it in the laundry. So that's Porcupine had a fuzzy sweater. But the kids, when I talk about this book at school visits, the kids are always curious about why somebody marked out the has and the had in the title. So we get to have a conversation about um, verb tense, just a very short conversation about verb tense. And if you have something and then when you lost it, then you had it. So it kind of leads to discussions like that too. So anyway, it's a fun book and I love the illustrations. I got really lucky with the illustrator because the illustrations are darling. And so yeah, it's what, a preliminary nominee, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll talk about the preliminary list later on in our, I think Krista um, has a reminder to everybody, but those ratings will come out. So crossing your fingers for the end of January that you hear great news that it has made the final list. That would be amazing to have another Missouri author and a Missouri book on our list, but not swaying the votes, not swaying the ratings, but the fact that it's on the list was pretty cool. But that's not your most recent books. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your newest series that's coming out? And then I can prompt you into, and Becky Dollins and I can prompt you into what needs to be the next book in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jen is talking about this series of books. This is the Who Am I series of nonfiction riddle books coming out with Highlights Press. So the same people who make Highlights magazine also have a book press. And they haven't done too much with their book side until recently, although they've been in business for 10 years, the book side of it. So we've got this new series, and it's riddle puzzles. So when the left side of the page, the left side of the page gives a riddle puzzle with clues about the animal, and then the right side of the page is like a jumbled picture. And then so the last line is "Who am I?" You turn the page. Somehow you turn the page and then it's revealed what the critter is and some more fun facts. So this has been a really fun series of books to write. So as you can see, this is sharks and other ocean animals, and then this one was pandas and other bears. I can tell you that I have already written and they are coming. The next books in the series, let me look at my list. Let's see. Who am I? Tigers and other big cats is coming. Who am I? Axolotls and other amphibians. And um, and that's it for right now. So those books are really, really fun. Yeah.
Tammy Barker, is there any preference? Do you have any preference as to what comes next? Help me out, friend.
Like a gorilla,
I
maybe?
would love a gorilla
I think
book.
that would
Gorilla
be
and
a great
primates.
choice. Yes, we
Gorilla
need to
and
do some
Just
primates.
do
primates.
a mascot book and do what comes next, Bearcats,
What is a bear cat?
No.
I don't know. Like,
which is exactly why we need a book about it.
there isn't any type of like Missouri, Northwest Missouri versus Pittsburgh State,
No,
rivalry at all. Not
Right,
not
right.
at all. But a gorilla
Absolutely.
would be a great topic if you would like to, investigate.
Right.
I
I
agree.
think primates and apes is maybe like a
Yes.
good, yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah. Definitely steering you that way. So research wise,
Yeah.
what would you how do you go about doing that to where those are appropriate for preschool and kindergarten? Like how difficult is it to narrow it down to get all these fun facts and then decide, oh my goodness, I only have 32 pages. So how does that work?
Right, right. So yeah, I start out by choosing the animals to be covered, knowing that, the shark is the title is Pandas and Other Bears or whatever. So I narrow down the animals that I'm going to cover, and then I research each animal so that I'm clear about what characteristics make them interesting or exciting that would be for kids. And then I put it in a rhyming format. And with a riddle. So it's a little challenging. It's kind of like putting puzzle pieces together, but I like puzzles, and so it's been a lot of fun trying to make it all work together on these different animals. But I research them the way that I would research any nonfiction book, which is go to reliable sources, read other books, go to .gov or .edu websites, and just um, National Geographic, just any place that would have good information about those animals. So the hardest part is trying to rhyme something some some feature of a shark, that makes sense for younger kids. But it's a lot of fun. And the kids love to guess. When I read these at school visits, they are on it. So it's amazing how much kids already know about, these animals.
Right. I'm seeing some comments in the chat, and I missed one earlier, so I apologize. Andrea Sumi is from Liberty, and she says, "So happy to have you here." I think you're probably neighbors, like right down the street from each other, because Liberty really isn't that big.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca has also made the comment that my students will love these. They love nonfiction animal books. Rebecca, I will personally buy you the copy for the gorilla when it comes out so that you can add it to your collection. And so, especially since she is definitely the Northwest Missouri, that's where her son is
You'll
currently.
buy it for me. Of course you will.
I will make sure and don't donate that to your kids.
Jody, where are you at in Liberty? I'm in Liberty in Clay Woods.
Oh, we live in Withersfield.
Oh, cool. Not
Yeah.
far.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you also have some connections to Southwest Missouri. Are they still in this part of the state?
Yes. So my son played baseball at Crowder College before he went on and got the rest of his degree at Kirksville in Northeast Missouri. But now he works down at Big Cedar Lodge. He's an assistant golf superintendent down there at one of the golf courses. So he's using his ag degree on grass.
Hey, it works. It works. So, you mentioned earlier to just get back on, I told you we can squirrels and everything. We're friends,
Right.
so we just do it. Oh, I hear a yay Kirksville. We can have a whole conversation with Elizabeth. So yes, we've got the Northwest, the Bulldogs, the Bearcats, and Pitt State. We can throw them all in at some point in this. We'll cover all of them. College of the Ozarks, we can cover that now too, since
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
we can do them all. But you mentioned school visits. Can you tell us a little bit about your school visits and what are some tips that you can give we're all school librarians, so what are some tips that you would love for us to know about to get us prepared for an author visit?
Yeah. Um, Well, let's see. It's helpful for me if the students know something about my books or my work in general. So that's really helpful if they know who I am rather than just, they don't have a clue who's coming today to talk to them. So it's really helpful if they have looked at my website or read my books or whatever. That's a lot of help to me. Um, um, I will tell you that the one thing that is, and so there's always technology. I usually bring my flash drive, and I have a clicker that I go through my PowerPoint. So there's just the technology piece, but that has never failed, no matter where I have gone. So if there were bugs initially, it all got worked out by the time all the kids were seated and were ready to have their thing. So I don't worry too. I communicate my needs in terms of presenting with the librarians way ahead of time, and they tell me what they need and we get it worked out. The one thing that is sometimes a tricky thing is if the school visits are arranged around morning drop off or evening going out of school. And that is really can be tricky in terms of just me parking and getting into the school, or going the other way, getting out of the school and not getting caught in the car rider line or the bus loop line or whatever. So, but really, I mean, the librarians that I have worked with have just been amazing. They have been welcoming. The kids know what I write. They're prepared with questions, and comments or stories or artwork on the walls is amazing. Really, I've just had a great time doing author visits, and the Missouri librarians and other librarians have just all been amazing. So keep doing what you're doing, whatever that is. It makes an author feel nice and welcomed, that that they're ready for you.
Well, we really do feel like authors are rock stars, especially with my students and I'm sure in other schools across the state, and across the nation, that we couldn't do our jobs without the authors, and the fact that we can meet them and they can be real life people, and it's similar to the librarians or the students who see the librarians at school at Walmart and go, wait a minute, you don't live at school, and
Right.
to put that face with the name and see that they're real live people and they can touch them and they can ask questions. What are some fun questions that you have been asked that took you off guard, or that you're like, oh my goodness, I will always remember this student, this school, because they asked this question?
Well, speaking of Andrea Sumi, I can just tell you that the last time that I was the visiting author in the Liberty School District, I was at Alexander Donovan, and it was one of the last visits of the day. And a girl raised her hand and she said, have you ever thought about if each of the characters from your books inhabited the same metaverse? And I was like, what?
Oh, so you have
I was like,
Prudence and you have
yeah,
Busy Buzz and you have
yes.
the emergency kittens and
Right, right. So all of these characters in her mind, all of these characters were in the same book. And I was like, okay, now that is an idea I had not thought of before. So then we talked about how, one publisher published this book and a different publisher published this book and a different publisher. So the likelihood that all of these characters could be in one book is probably not very high, but it was a good idea. And I appreciate her out of the box thinking. So that was that was a fun question.
yeah. Just like Stephen King is what Andrea Sumi says. So that I'm just thinking of like the Mo Willems who, all of a sudden you see Knuffle Bunny somewhere in the Elephant and Piggy books. So
Yeah.
here's your challenge. You can start putting a gorilla in all of your books somewhere in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. Here is going to be my promise to you guys. If I get a gorilla in a book in any form, I will dedicate the book to the MASL librarians. How about that?
I love that idea. Tammy loves that idea too. I don't know about the rest of them, but I we're the most important ones, so no. Um, any questions I have one more thing, but I'm going to take us off of the Zoom picture and I'm going to share a screen. But if there's any more questions I don't want to miss, so go ahead and type those out. What have I missed, Jody? What are you doing next? What are you working on besides a gorilla book?
Yeah, right. Right. So this is my first board book.
Oh,
It's Grandma's
fun.
Little Love Bug. Yes. It's also from the highlights people. I don't know if you guys can tell, it crinkles.
Oh my
But
goodness.
anyway, so yes, so this comes out tomorrow. This comes out
Yay!
tomorrow.
Well,
Yeah.
happy book birthday.
Thank you, thank you. And it's got a couple of follow-up titles that are coming too over the next few months. The next one is Daddy's Little Burrito. And then the one after that one is Mama's Little Cupcake. So
Oh,
look for those books. This one comes out tomorrow. And then my next picture book is this one, which comes out in March, Disco Dave. And it's so, the illustrations are so darling. And it has references to 70s and early 80s stars, like, oh, you might see a reference to Casey and the Sunshine Band, or maybe
oh,
Donna
how
Summer,
fun.
or whatever. But anyway, it's about a walrus who loves disco, but he is not that coordinated. And so he has to figure out a way to continue learning how to dance, but also to preserve his love of disco. So it's a really fun book. That one comes out in March.
And that sounds like it's going to be just as much fun for the adult readers than it is for the kids. So love that. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's tons of puns because you are so great at the puns as well.
Thanks.
Not only just rhymes, but the puns. Rebecca wants to know what's your favorite book that you have written. Rebecca, we've talked about this. She has not written it yet. It's going to be her gorilla book.
Yes, that is true. My gorilla book is my favorite book. No, I can't really choose a favorite, although I can tell you one of the books that I wrote that um, I am very happy to have published
Oh,
is The Last Day Julian Was My Best Friend. Just because it really tugs at my heart. And so I love this tender story of friendship. So, but I won't say it's my favorite because I don't want the other books to feel bad. So anyway.
right, right. And Brenda, I totally did not see that you were on. So yes, I've been calling out Tammy as a gorilla, but Brenda Durbin is also a gorilla. You know, you have the Southwest Missouri, gorilla Pitt State people all across the state, and but that was something that we had. Before we finish, and I know we'll have to come back here, but I wanted to share your website. So hopefully I can get it done correctly so that you can. Oh, I'm going to have to exit. Hold on just a second. I did it wrong. Sorry. Let me try again. Okay, let me try this. I wanted to share your website because you have so many resources for teachers and librarians. Um, that I wanted to make sure that we had the ability to see everything that you have available to us. So we're going under books, correct?
Yeah. And then if you click on each book. Now I don't have anything yet for Disco Dave, but you can
March 3rd.
see,
Everybody put it out, put it on your calendar, March 3rd.
yeah, yeah. But like if you go to some of the others, or if you go to the nonfiction, if you go to Creeply Crunch on the nonfiction books, there's a whole there's an instructor guide there, or
Lots
yeah.
of
Let's see. Oh, you're on.
interviews. I
Yeah.
just clicked on um,
Yep.
tons of different things. Oh, I did nonfiction and I scrolled. So the
Yeah.
fact that you are able to create all these resources as well is just proves that you are a true librarian friendly author. And the fact that you're in Missouri and one of the best states in the country, um, we were going to do nonfiction. Which one did you mention?
I just like Creeply Crunch. That has a guide, a discussion guide. It was created by Marcy Colleen. She's also a children's author. But there are some other things there. I I wrote a food chain song to the tune of Frosty the Snowman. So if you haven't availed yourself of the Frosty the Snowman like food chain song, you really should because it's going to be a big hit. So
That definitely sounds like a future Grammy is in on its way. So, and the lyrics are right there, so you can print them off and everything. So,
that's
sounds like
right.
so much fun. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and go back to our presentation because it's 6:29. You wanted to give away something very important. So I hope everybody is very close to their keyboards. And thank you, Jody. Can't wait to read Disco Dave, says Andrea. So
Uh,
I'm letting people get real close to their keyboards. The rule was the first person to type out the correct answer was going to win, correct?
I think I mean, that's a way that I came up with that we could do it. So if you
Okay.
have a better idea, that's
No,
great.
that's perfect to me. I have the chat open. I will say that I'll go based on my chat screen. I don't know if it will, if it changes because of the way that um, everybody else does. Actually, no, I'm going to ask Gloria. Gloria, are you close by? Can you tell me the first person on your screen so that you're our unbiased person? Would you be able to do
Yes,
that? Okay.
I
Okay.
can do that.
Okay. So the first person to give the correct answer to this question, go for it, Jody.
Um, the question is the number of Santa's reindeer.
I have seen the winner already. The correct
I
answer is
Go
what,
ahead.
Jody?
What? Oh, the correct answer is nine. Eight without Rudolph, nine with Rudolph.
So
So it's
nine. Gloria,
Savannah.
who was your very first? Savannah
Savannah.
Essery. And the prize that she can win is what, Jody?
So I would love to give you your choice. I will sign it and send it to you. Jen can give me your information tomorrow, but I would love to send you either an advanced copy of Disco Dave or Porcupine Had a Fuzzy Sweater.
Savannah, that
Yay!
is so exciting. Which one would you like?
I would like Disco Dave because I have Porcupine since I was on the Show Me committee last year, and I'm so excited it's on the top 25. So, yay! Thank you so
Yay!
much.
Yay,
You're
exciting. And
welcome.
that does not exclude you from the other prizes later on. This was a bonus prize that Jody added at the very end. And I'm so excited because, yeah. Um, Jody, do you mind sending it to me and then I'll forward it on to Savannah after I read it?
Absolutely. Sure. Sure.
And maybe draw in a gorilla somewhere, shape, or form, right? It's an advanced reader's copy, so it can
Yeah,
get the
absolutely.
gorilla added in. No, I'll get Savannah, as long as you have filled out the form for the prizes, I'll get all the information and connect you tomorrow. So, and Jody, I told you this time was going to fly by. It is already 6:30. I cannot believe how quickly it went. Thank you so much for joining us. It was such a pleasure to see you again. Um, we love your books. Missouri is very proud of you as one of our authors. We claim, yeah. And
Oh,
I'm so excited that in the future I will see a gorilla book somewhere in your
thank
collection.
you guys so much for having me, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So much fun. Okay, let me go back to our Zoom. This is where I'm going to not have everything. We are ready after I hit share. Again, we are ready to do our MASL dates. So sharing my screen, making sure it's all there, and then hitting present. Up first is our community engagement. And I believe Rebecca was going to do this. Rebecca, are
This
you?
part,
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
Good to see you all tonight. So I put a link in the chat that I hope is live. I'm also going to put the full link in the chat when I'm finished. But January 26th, community engagement, which branched off from legislative advocacy, is hosting their new librarian workshop. You can sign up there in the link. The session will be about advocating for your library, for example, with teachers, about all the great ways you can be a resource, with students, so that they know reading can be fun and entertaining, and also regarding the importance of having a highly qualified librarian in your school. So please sign up for that workshop, and I will have the full link there in just a moment.
No problem. And even
Thank
though this says
you.
new librarian, anybody can actually join this conversation, correct?
Correct.
Yes. So if advocacy is one of your things, or you feel like you would like to have more information about, we are all advocates in our job and our position. So definitely do that. Do you want to also mention the need for our retirees?
Um, I did not have information about that.
Okay, I was
My
just given the
apologies.
link. I will just make the comment that if anybody knows a retiree, please get them to volunteer. We, especially around this time of year where there's different conferences and different legislation needs, we can always use the retirees who aren't necessarily needing to get the professional days out of their schools and missing so much. So there's also areas for volunteers at spring conference and mentoring for the retirees as well. So I read all of that off of the retiree um, paper that they sent me. Curriculum, Andrea, I'm going to have you go back to back. So we'll start with curriculum and then we'll do intellectual freedom.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hopefully you can't see me because I can't see myself, but that's okay. We are getting ready to do some virtual sessions around the new program standards. Thanks to so much great feedback from the form that we put out, we now have the focus topics. So I just let Jen and Jill Hancock know today. So this is kind of breaking news. So the first session will focus on programming and collaboration. And then the second one will focus on collection and program advocacy. So those were the top four topics according to the first, second, and third choice form that we put out. So I really appreciate it. When we looked late last week, we had over 30 people who had responded to that. So hopefully we'll get that and then some. When you sign up, it sounds like you can choose to sign up for both or one. And then, if you've already signed up and now you kind of know which one, if you only can attend one, maybe one is better for you than another. We're going to set it up in a way that we take really good notes. So even if you aren't there, you can kind of get that information and kind of see what people were sharing about and strategies and ideas that were shared. And then also, we'll make it available in a way that hopefully is helpful. So hope to see a lot of you there. And then I have the second one, right? Another slide.
Yes.
Thank you.
Intellectual freedom.
Yes. And this one we're just sharing because we have transitioned to a Google Drive, Google email that is specific to the helpline. Before it was in one of the members' personal drives. So it was actually in my personal drive, and we felt like it was really important to get it to be in a dedicated space. Getting it started that way helped us get off the ground really soon. But now we want to make sure that is in a place that is sustainable and it's going to be there for a long time. So the bit.ly form is a little bit different. So there's the new QR code, new form. If you go to the old form, like if you got a sticker or you have some information from the old form, you'll find a way to redirect to the new form, and then both the MASL and MLA websites should already be updated. So just wanted to kind of share that we have a new space. So That's
And
it.
this is a helpline that is for all libraries in Missouri, correct? So not
Yes.
just the libraries, but also
Yes.
the public library as well. So
Sure. And technically, it doesn't have to be librarians or library workers. It can be anyone who has concerns about something they're seeing in their community related to intellectual freedom issues.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for doing it. Any questions? I don't want to move too fast, and I should have asked that question before I went on to Andrea. So if you have questions about community engagement or intellectual freedom, pop them in the chat, and I will make sure that Rebecca and or Andrea are able to answer. Nope. Legislative, I don't know if Sarah is on, but we wanted to make sure everybody knew that the Legislative Advocacy Day has been scheduled. More details will be coming out, but please plan to join us February 3rd. It's a Tuesday. The morning will be at the Secretary of State's building, meeting with everybody just to know all the things that are happening in terms of legislation that has been filed and in committee on public library side as well as school library side. And then the afternoon, the MASL office does a great job of scheduling appointments with our own legislators. The legislators really prefer to talk to their own constituents. So that's why it's so important for us to be planning to attend ourselves so that we can get more of our MASL members into the legislative offices. I will tell you that I love this event because I never feel like I'm by myself. Like every time I've gone, the MASL office does a great job of scheduling appointments real close to offices and things like that, to where you are not in an office by yourself. So you can share about your library with your legislators, but you're not by yourself, and sharing the things with legislators all across the state. So be on the lookout for more information, but definitely put that date in your calendar and make sure that you are able to join us in Jefferson City on Tuesday, February 3rd. And then Readers Award. I believe that was going to be Krista.
Just a reminder that the deadline is coming up in less than a month. So January 13th is when all of your reviews and ratings have to be in. And I will share a link to this graphic in the chat that way you have a quick link to each of the different readers awards. It just for a reminder for those of you who aren't familiar with the reader selectors, anyone can be a reader selector. It can be a parent, it can be a student, it could be a teacher, it can be you. The student votes though do count for twice as much as the adult votes. So that is how we get our list of 12 that we narrow down that she was talking about that we announce. And we announce those at the end of January.
We try
Is
to
that
get it
right?
out by the end of
Yeah.
January. It's not
Yeah.
official. It's supposed to be out until like the first or second week of February, but we really try our hardest to get it out by the January.
Right, get it out early. So
So
that's
this is
just
a very hard deadline. Just
yes.
announcing that because I know lots of people are like, but we've had a snow day or we've had something else going on, and we still we really have to push. We're pushing it for promotional materials anyway in terms of conference. So getting
Well,
them.
and another reminder with these is that there is no minimum you have to read. You can read just one book and rate it. So, I mean, your kids shouldn't need to feel the stress of having to read all 24, 25 books on whatever list it is. You know, they can read one or two and rate them. It doesn't have to be, just whatever they're comfortable with. I did want to throw in real quick too. Any of you that are around the Kansas City area, close to the rabbit hole, they just announced a competition today. If any of you are familiar with the Battle of the Brains that Burns and McDonald does, where you make the next exhibit at Science City, they are doing something that you're designing the next exhibit at the rabbit hole. So the timeline is very squashed. I just talked to the programming coordinator when I was volunteering yesterday, and the actual sessions that you have to attend to learn about it are this Thursday and Monday. You pick one or the other, and then you apply. And they're going to try to involve about 300 students. everybody will get the same kit to design, and you get to go on a field trip and talk to the fabricators there. And there'll be a monetary prize for the winner. And so it would be like a whole second semester thing. And again, it's very rushed trying to get it going because it's new and they meant to get it done in the fall. But if any of you are interested in that, if you just go to the Rabbit Hole website, you'll see the information there. It is called, I think it's Beyond the Books. Rabbit Hole Exhibit Design Challenge. I think they called it. Yeah, Beyond the Page. So Exhibit Design Challenge. So I just wanted to throw that out there, just because the information isn't going to be out for long. So if anybody's interested, definitely check that out because it'll be a very cool experience for students.
No, that is fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. One other thing I want to share with the reader selectors is remembered when I was in K-12 and doing Show Me and had to submit one ballot for every single student over and over and over again. And now we have a way to do
Hey,
the multiple students. So
somebody could mute me. I can't find my home thing. No.
yeah,
Can't
yeah,
find the button.
I will try to do that. I don't know if I can or not. Nope, I can't. Maybe Gloria can, but if
Oh,
not,
there it
you're good
is.
to
I
go.
found it. It
Oh,
was
good.
hiding.
You're good. Okay. Moving on, I think next is scholarships, grants, and recognitions. Do we have anybody here? I didn't see Jana, but she might be on and I just haven't scrolled enough. The biggest thing for them is to apply. December 15th comes really, really quickly, and there are tons of awards and recognitions. Everybody is doing a fantastic job at what they're doing. So please, please, please apply to make sure that you have that. Oh, and thank you, Krista, for sharing that Canva design. I meant to do that while you were talking and forgot, so I appreciate that a lot. So all the awards are due December 15th. And then we have what everybody has been looking forward to, spring conference.
Yay!
Yay!
So registration is still open, and if you register before January 31st, you get the Spring Conference t-shirt, the coveted t-shirt. And so make sure that if you are able to, go ahead and register. This year, it's not a general full conference registration. You can register for Sunday only. Sunday is the big day when we have the awards banquet and the Reader Awards banquet. And if you want to come for Monday only, you can, or Sunday and Monday. So there are lots of options out there, and we'd love to see you.
Sounds great. Next.
Don't forget, workshop proposals are coming up due on Monday, like next week, December 15th, same day as SGR. So make sure to get those proposals in. We are always looking for great workshops. If you know somebody that does something cool, ask them to submit a workshop proposal. And we just want to hear what everybody's doing across the state. So get those proposals in.
And you all are doing amazing things too. So don't forget that you can not only invite other people, but you can submit one yourself too.
And
our big theme this year is about creating communities, and that's so important for librarians. If you have pictures that you want to share of you in your library community, maybe it's you as a librarian, maybe it's you as a kid in a library, your favorite with you and your favorite librarian. So any of those pictures that you want to share, we would love to spotlight on the MASL message and at the spring conference. So please, please, please scan that QR code, go to that website. It's a Google Drive, and just submit those photos because we would love to see you and your library crew.
sounds fantastic.
We have some great authors in attendance. We have first place winners from three of our from last year. Is all three of them? And then Roland Smith was on the Truman last year as well. So we have lots of great authors coming. These are just our Readers Award authors. We already have several authors coming for the author exclusive event. And of course, they'll have the author signing as well. So be sure to keep checking back to see all of those fun authors as well.
Sounds great. I am so looking forward to this already, and I know it's still months away, but it's just it's my favorite time of year. I really do really love spring conference and seeing everybody in person. And so with that, I want to get to a point where we can stop sharing the screen and the presentation, or stop recording the presentation, and remind you that we have our next MASL Message Live is January 12th, and I have gotten a Dogwood Reader